Welcome. This is the Board of Equalization and Review, and today is April 26th. It is 1:01. So welcome. Per the North Carolina General Statute, the Board of Equalization and Review must convene to hear appeals for 2023. Any property owner can file an appeal to the board beginning when the board convenes and ends when the board adjourns. Powers and the duties. We good? All right. I'll start over because I'm not sure where I got to. Per the North Carolina General Statute, the Board of Equalization Review must adjourn to hear appeals for 2023. The powers and duties of the board can be found in the North Carolina General Statute 105.3.22. Is there any prior business to discuss or any administrative matters that we need to?
I have nothing today other than to remind you that this is the last scheduled hearing. We do have other appeals that are pending, and the schedule is probably coming up in September, October, but there's nothing at this time on the schedule.
Okay. We'll do the conflict checks. Does anybody have a conflict with Blue Planet Plumbing or with Alpine Mutt LLC DBA Sauna House?
No.
Nope.
Awesome. Just a couple of reminders. This board is here to hear your appeal. So you will tell us what you want to hear, then we'll make a decision. You'll direct all of your questions to the board, and then we can direct staff if there needs to be something directed to staff. So you guys will be heard, and then the staff will be heard. The expectation on this board too is that there'll be professional contact. We kind of set a 15-minute, but obviously if there's something that we feel needs to be, we need you to be heard longer than that, we will definitely do so. We are also being videoed, and then we will follow the Robert's Rules of Order. So we're going to put Alpine Mutt LLC DBA Sauna House because they are present with us. We're going to put them first. So do you guys want to go ahead and come up to the podium, whoever is going to speak? And we'll need to swear you in. Okay. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. My name is Katie Brotherton. I am the CFO for Sauna House here in town. And really, we just came here today. So Sauna House has been around for about 4 years now. The owner, Andrew Nellick, it is his first business here. And I started about 1.5 years ago with them. And at the time realized that they had kind of a full service out-of-state bookkeeping accounting situation going on. I got a hold of their books. Books didn't look great. I just said, you might want to consider taking on an in-house bookkeeper and getting, a different accountant. So we since found Mira, who is their bookkeeper now. And they have a different accounting firm As that was happening, we received an audit from the city, and it came out that the property tax listings that we believed were being filed every year had not been filed at all. So the audit came out with, what we owe as far as property taxes, and then all of these penalties. So really, we're here today. We're happy to pay what we owe in the taxes. We're just hoping for a little bit of forgiveness on those penalties, if at all possible. Sauna House is a staple in the community now. We do 1% for the planet and donate. We just made a $10,000 donation to Greenworks here in town. So it's things like that we want to continue to use those funds for. So if there's, any way that these penalties can be forgiven, we would be extremely grateful for that. And that's all.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Sauna House?
I do. You mentioned the prior out-of-state bookkeeping firm or what have you. Were they made aware of the problem, and did they offer any restitution or anything like that to Sauna House?
We really just kind of cut ties with them and let that lay. And it wasn't until months later that we got the audit and then the finding, and then it took months for the findings, and we put it all together that they had not been
Have
doing.
you since then told them of the shortfalls that they had?
No, we did not discuss. We kind of cut ties with them altogether.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
You are up. Let me swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Sherry Blackwell. I'm personal property manager for the Buncombe County Assessor's Office, and we contract with Tax Management as a third-party auditing firm for us. And the question before us today is the late listing penalty for the business personal property for Sauna House correctly assessed within General Statute 105-3112H. The audit revealed that the business personal property had not been listed for taxation or had been reported incorrectly. A discovery letter was prepared based on General Statute 105-312E, emailed on February 9th, 2023. The discovery notice is a total of $24,639.56, which includes a penalty amount of $6,325.01. The penalty was appealed on February 21st, and on March 22nd, the assessor's office mailed a letter informing the appellant of date and time and location of the hearing before our board for equalization and review. The staff recommendation is the penalty is correctly assessed within the guidelines of the statute, and respectfully submit this on April 26, 2023.
Thank you, Sherry.
Ms. Sherry,
Yes.
did you find that they were missing, or is it just everything wasn't accounted for?
I think it was, to be honest, I don't have all of that, but I believe it's just things were missing. They had filed, but I believe that there were just assets that had been missed for the filing.
Looks like 19 and 20 were not filed, and then 21 were missed and not received in a timely manner. So, or at least that's what the summary audit findings say. So nothing for 19 and 20, and then I guess the tax department didn't receive it in 21 in a timely manner, right?
I can pull it if you need that. I can pull that up and look at it if you want to know.
Would you do that? That would
Sure.
be great. Thank you. And so I think that 19, that was the first year you guys were in business too? Correct. Do you remember when you came into business? Was the beginning of the year, was the year February? Okay.
Here, so ask them to come back to the mic if they want to speak.
Yes, will you come back to the mic, just so we have you on recording?
Yes, the business opened in February 2019, I believe.
February of 2019. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One more question, sorry. I apologize. So from what this says, it looks like nothing was filed for 19 and 20, but then 21 was filed. And it says not received in a timely manner. And so do you know if the accountant that you guys were engaged with at that point, if they were the ones that filed for 21 just late, or was that something that the business had taken over at that point and started to file the property?
My best guess is that they would have been the ones to do it, because I don't think that we had secured another accountant yet at that point. So we kind of had a couple months where there just was no accountant. Is there anything else?
We'll let you get back.
Okay.
Yeah, go again and we'll ask you something else.
It's gonna work out.
And this was an accountant that was not local?
Yeah, I believe they were out of Atlanta.
Okay,
I think they were.
okay. So they just didn't have the knowledge that there needed to be a filing of,
I guess to me, I mean, from my end of things, it seemed like, the books were not they weren't producing good financial data. There wasn't a lot of work going into it. So my assumption is that they just completely neglected to manage this part for us.
Great, thank you. Yes, Sherry, come back to the podium. Thank you.
So yes, you're correct. We didn't receive a filing for 20. 21 was filed by Andrew at Sono House. So that would have been the owner. And then the 22 listing. Is the same, and it was filed. Do you want to know if it was late or on time? Is that important for you guys?
Yes, for 22. Mhm.
It was on time for 22. They had asked for an extension, so it was received in a timely manner.
Ms. Blackwell, can I
Yes.
ask a question?
Of course.
So where would the inquiry for these items be sent to Alpine Mutt LLC? They would be sent to the owner, not to the accountant, for example. It would have to go to.
We typically do both.
Okay.
We will get two contacts, one to their accounting firm, and then if they ask for someone at the actual business to receive that, we'll send it. TMA asks those questions, who do we need to correspond with for the audit?
Jonathan, were you asking though for the initial?
Yes.
Yeah, not
So
now.
Not from the audit firm, but from the Buncombe County Tax Office. So who sends those, or where do those notices typically go to? To the business, I assume to the business owner.
It goes to whatever mailing address we have on file, is who we send the initial correspondence to.
Okay. That answers my question.
Because otherwise you would not know that, and you would not know the secondary party or the accounting firm without having some correspondence with.
Right, we notify
owner.
each business by certified mail that they will be hearing from TMA within the next few weeks to start the process.
Yeah, and I'm talking even further back. Just the initial, when they,
Like our listings and.
Yes,
those
ma'am.
The listing form,
Yes,
yes.
It go, typically we start mailing it to the business unless they, and then sometimes they give us other information, but typically, yes.
And when was this first listing form mailed to the business?
So the first time the business listed with us was 2022. Because the discovery starts with 21. We mailed our first listing to them in December of 21, which would have been for 2022.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes. And as lots of times this happens is we don't know the business exists.
Any other questions for Sherry?
Either one of you. Either one of you have a comment? I'm sorry, you act like you had a question. I want to make sure you wasn't getting missed.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion if there's no further discussions or comments for the county or for Sauna House?
I empathize, and this happens all the time. We get a lot of discovery appeals before the board. So from my viewpoint, we have to, as a board, follow the statutes. And I listened to both sides, and it didn't really sound like in this particular case there was an evident hardship or intervening circumstance. And I get that, but it's hard for this board to take exception to the general statutes in the absence of that sort of proven evidence that there was a hardship case here. And I don't know that I see that. So I would recommend that, and I would make a motion that the board accept the position of the county for that reason. It's just difficult to make exceptions in the absence of proven hardships or circumstances, and I don't really see that here. So if we do it for you, we have to do it for all. We set a precedent, I guess, is what I see. But that's my opinion. There's other folks here on the board that may have an opposing opinion.
Mark, can you make the motion for us then, please?
I do make a motion that we accept the position of the county as it relates to the non-waiver of the penalty. And I think the greater weight was presented that the county followed protocols, they followed procedures, they followed the statutes and did what they had to do. So I would make that motion that we accept the county's position.
Do I hear a second?
Oh, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, second.
Okay, I hear a second. Philip?
In expanding on what Mr. Morris had to say, guys, and I hear your contribution to the community, your civic mindedness, the 1% back. It's a great thing. And I think Madam Chair would probably advise you before she ruled and closed it out that these penalties are per statute, but they do not go to the county. They do go to the schools, as I understand. That's where the penalty goes. So in a way, you're making a contribution further. And hopefully there will be some write-offs from your taxes that will help you in that regard as well from paying them. But I also would advise you, if the accounting company, bookkeeping company, whoever out of Georgia holds themselves out as doing business in North Carolina, available to businesses here, I think they have that responsibility. While I do not know and cannot speak to it affirmatively, I believe every state collects personal property taxes, and it's not lost on them, even Georgia, North Carolina, or anywhere else, that if they're doing it and holding themselves out in that business, they should have known this was applicable to you, and they should have done a better job for you. And I do think they owe you a remedy in that situation. And I'm sorry it happened, but I do third the motion of Mr. Morris and agree we accept the recommendation of the county.
All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion will stand. And just as Philip indicated, so any penalty monies by the North Carolina General Statute does go to Buncombe County School System. So, and the tax department will, they have actually, I think I noticed, they already paid their tax, right? Did they pay their tax?
Not the penalty, but the tax. They
Yeah,
made-
right.
yeah.
They paid the tax, but not the penalty amount. Correct. Okay. So you guys will be in touch with them about that. Great. Thank
for
you.
your time
We
today.
really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. Next appeal is Blue Planet Plumbing LLC. Are they coming or are they virtual?
Not present.
Okay.
Not present either.
Will not be present either, okay? So we'll hear from the county. Sherry, you've already been sworn in, so we'll hear the county's position.
The question before us today is the late list penalty for business personal property owned by Blue Planet Plumbing LLC correctly assessed in accordance with General Statute 105-3112H. The Buncombe County Assessor's Office has contracted with TMA Tax Management to do our third-party auditing for the Assessor's Office. The audit revealed the business personal property assets had not been listed for taxation or have been reported incorrectly. A discovery letter was prepared for General Statute 105-312E and was emailed on January 12, 2023. A discovery notice total of $1,153.49, including a penalty amount of $236.02, was emailed to Katie Stone of Blue Planet Plumbing. Katie appealed the penalty on February the 11th. On March 22nd, the assessor's office mailed a letter informing the appellant of the time, date, and location of the hearing before the board. Staff recommendation is the penalty is correctly assessed within the guidelines of general statute and respectfully submit the 26th day of April 23 that the penalty is assessed correctly. May
you.
I add one thing to this?
Yes,
I have
please.
heard from the owner,
Okay.
and his general manager, which is Katie, resigned on him overnight. Didn't work a notice, and he said, right now I'm pretty much handcuffed to a truck to try to keep things rolling. So I told him that the board asked questions and that, if he's not here, but sometimes they just can't. So he's in a little bit of a predicament at the moment, losing his general manager.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Does anybody have any comments for Sherry?
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, Sherry. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the county.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion will stand. those are all of the appeals that we have on the docket for today. Is there any new business?
I do not have any.
After the adjournment today, the board will only meet to hear timely filed appeals. Okay. We will adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Sit here all day.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
We adjourn at 1:25 on April 26th.